So I think I'm the kind of helicopter view of the project. And my role, at least as I see it, is to help people see the real potential power of this. I think that my role in this project is to kind of be the oversight and the overseer of the potential power of this project. To recognize that if we can help unlock how local people and their insights and their needs can help international funders create greater impact on the ground when they're asking people to change their behaviors from one thing to another, then I think we'll really contribute to increasing the value of their spend. They put a lot of dollars, pounds, whatever else, euros, into trying to make the world a better place. And yeah, I think understanding the true potential of local to help accelerate impact improves their investment.
Cool, that's so cool. This is totally a different perspective that we haven't really had, and I like it, the business side of it.
So we have to keep reminding ourselves that this is agency with regards to human change. Like, why should societies change? Why should cultural norms change? Why should individuals change their behavior? And understanding this role of choice in that. And to me, the interesting part of discussing this fancy word agency is to try and parse out that momentum that we're trying to create here. Choice is complicated. And I think at the heart of agency is choice, I think, if I try and simplify the whole concept. And to me, choosing to be part of a collective is sometimes almost an accidental choice, or it's an unthought choice. You just do it naturally because that's the norm. And this concept that the West has of individual choice exists as well inside collective choice, but in a different kind of structure, in a different kind of dynamic. I think the classic "a person is not a person because of until they consider other people" type of thinking is not as simplistic as we make it out to be. I think that people are constantly evaluating that relationship between themselves and the greater. And I think you evaluate that depending on what the subject is. I think you evaluate it depending on what your age is. And I think you evaluate it based on who your community is. And the other interesting wrinkle, I think, about agency is this concept of community and how that's evolved so rapidly in the last 10, 15 years, where before defining community was pretty geographic, and now it's so many other things. And a lot of technology has made it possible for us to be really deeply involved in communities that we're not next to people with. So I think this brings up a couple of values that I think are really critical to create this environment of agency that we keep talking about. Even though we can't define agency, I think we all intuitively go, well, I'll know it when I feel it. So the first is, I think, that we need to create an atmosphere of curiosity, where people are just seriously curious as to why this versus that. And that has to happen at all levels, and in opposition to defending something as oh, well, this is why I did it. And that sounds like a little bit of a nuanced thing, but I think it's an important one. It's just having that deep curiosity. The second thing is creating an atmosphere of humility, on both sides. So the implementers, while they find themselves often in this advocacy role of we've got to change, this is a wrong and I want to change it, they need to be a little bit humble and say, well, do these people really want it changed? And if they did, why would they want it? And if I did that, what would be the unintended consequences of it potentially? And then on the other side, humility of hey, maybe I don't really understand the problem as I'm trying to define it as a research question. and let me be a little less dictatorial about what we should research and a little more curious and a little more humble and say, what do you guys think we should be looking into? And again, I see that as one of the major opportunities of this project, is to nurture those two values. So the second metric would be an acceleration of impact. If we start to see that we're doing better for the same amount of investment. And there must be some explanation for that. And if we've done something differently, one could only intuit that's probably what's causing it. So I'm very pragmatic about this. I mean, we can talk about systems and structures and designs all we want to. At the end of the day, have you improved someone's life as they define improvement, not as we define improvement? And that, again, goes back to that humility of understanding that not everybody wants what you want. So to me, that's agency. That's on both sides of it. It's like saying, without your help, we're not going to be able to do this. But it's also us saying, shoot, you know what? We need to work together in this, so we've got to give you more responsibility and power to tell us more of what's going to help you. I want to come back to a word that I said earlier, humility. And to me, the crux of all of this is increasing the humility on both sides. We talk a lot about responsibility. Responsibility requires humility. So if you want me to take responsibility, I have to have the humility to ask, and vice versa. So I have to have the humility to say, I don't know everything, and I can't fix everything, or I don't expect you to fix everything. And then kind of meeting in the middle, and to me, that's kind of agency. Is creating that environment where, two power bases and people with what we call no agency have perhaps a lot of latent power that we don't consider power, but it's lying in there. They just don't use it. And then this other side who exhibits it in extreme forms sometimes, by saying, yeah, we'll do that. We got you covered. We know better than you do. And kind of nurturing that sense of humility so that they can meet in the middle and really kind of solve the problems together.